I would like to present the making of Copenhagen Honors College to you because it is a passion of mine, as Martin told me, or told you. And I am the head of the program, and thus it is very natural that I will be the one presenting it to you. The Copenhagen Honors College is located at a teacher education institute. We only have students that are training to be teachers here, and we focus on students that want to be science teachers in some way. Our program is give the students 30 European credits, and it is extracurricular, and it is for 4 years. It's external funded. We have a large pharmaceutical company, Novo Nordisk, produces insulin to the entire world, and they have a foundation. They have given us approximately 4 million euros to try this honors program out for 4 years, which means that for 4 consecutive years we can enroll 15 students each year, a total of 60 students if we could get the 60 students, but I will get back to you on that problem. We started in 2018. We got the funding in place in March 1st, 2018, and we started with all our activities in August 2018. So we had quite some busy months that year. We will end in 2023, which means that this coming August we will enroll the last class within the funding period. The entire program has a number of aims. We target different goals with the program. First of all, we want to educate science teachers that will be able to make a difference in grade schools. We educate teachers for grade schools only, and we would like them to go out and make a difference in the science teaching area. This is, of course, because the money people behind this honors program is a pharmaceutical company that is very interested in having science strengthens in the grade schools. Also, we would like to produce and explore new didactical knowledge and tools for teaching strong students. We have in our institution, University College Copenhagen, where Copenhagen Honors College is part of, has 23 different educational or educations within the organization, and we need, as one of our goals for the entire organization, we need to be better at working with the strong students. We can see when we look at the students that leave their education, we can see that the ones leaving are the students with very low entry grades and students with very high entry grades. And we want to be able to hold on to the very strong students much better than we do today. And the Copenhagen Honors College is a way to try to remedy this problem. So we want to prevent the strong students from dropping out of their education in the future. Also, we want to use the Copenhagen Honors College as an innovative pedagogical laboratory. We want to be able to explore different ways of working with the students. And one of our most important ways to do that is to minimize the asymmetry between teachers and students. So we try in every communication with the students and about the students and the program, we try to verbally minimize this asymmetry by talking about collaboration with students, co-creation with students, being colleagues with the students, and looking for answers from the students all the way through. This is a mantra for the entire communication within and about the program. We have a lot of different activities. 30 credits is half a year of full-time work that the students will cram into the last 2 years of their 4-year teacher studies. We have the most important thing, or the thing that has the largest credit assigned to it, is the partner school project. And the partner school project is a project that the student work on individually for a year and a half out of the 2 years that they're enrolled in the program. The project is defined essentially in the beginning by a school, a grade school. We make contact to different schools and ask them, do you have a project that you wish you had the resources and the time to work on and to work on and to succeed with, but you don't have the resources? Because if you do, we may have a student that might take up that challenge for you. And then we connect students to the specific schools, and the school and the student negotiate the details about the program. And we have had about the project. We've had projects like one school had re-renovated the entire science area, and they ended up with a lot of live animals placed in the library, and they wondered what to do with them, and should they just get rid of them, or could they actually be part of teaching in grades from 1 to 9. And we had a student go in and try to, for a year and a half, make ideas or produce teaching materials that would include all these live animals into a lot of different teaching sessions in the entire school. We've also had a project with a school that said we need to reach out to the community, but we don't know how to do it. And our honor student made a catalog and in-service training program for the teachers at that school to use all the different possibilities in the local area. That's just 2 of the projects. And we have a lot of other activities in this program. We have journal clubs where the students work on scientific papers and try to convert them into knowledge that can be used in the teaching profession. We have summer schools. We have courses that the students have to take 8 courses in different kinds of areas. We have a case competition where the students work on a specific task that they get from an external part. And the pictures you will see in this slideshow are from a case competition we had just a few weeks ago, where the students had to work with a tourist attraction, a new tourist attraction that wanted to have more families visit and have the families explore the nature around this tourist attraction. And the students worked on it for 24 hours consecutively and produced very good material. Then we have individual supervision, we have individual coaching sessions, and we have community meetings and all kinds of things that help the student build a community around the Copenhagen Honors College. We have quite a few challenges in the program. First of all, our most urgent challenge is that it's very difficult to recruit students to this program. Not because there's anything wrong with the program, and all our evaluation from the students that are actually in the program are very positive, but we have this very limited time period of 4 years, and we had Corona fill a very big part of that time. Beyond Corona, recruitment is difficult because we have a small population. We have only 155 students that are formally eligible to apply to this program. This means that these are students in teacher education with at least 1 science topic in their portfolio. And 155 students as a ground population is very small when you're looking for 15 students every year. Also in Denmark, we share probably a challenge with a lot of other countries that the term talent can be very difficult. So one of our evaluations of one of the research programs actually said that the students never refer to themselves as being part of a talent program. They only refer to themselves as being part of an honors program, because in Denmark an honors program is a completely unknown term, so they get to define themselves what it means to be part of this. When I give speeches about the students, when the students are present, I stopped using the word talent and I used the word strong students or students with a will to do a lot more, students with high ambitions, because it is a stigma to be labeled a talent unless you're in sports, in arts, or maybe perhaps in commerce in Denmark. In Denmark, especially maybe the welfare education, such as teacher education, is very, very equity oriented, which means that it's hard to stand out if it's because you want to do more than the things that you are already presented to. And as an honors program in a teacher education, we are first movers. So we have this cultural bias against doing something extra for talented students, because the common sense is that, or the common notion is that talented students should be able to deal with the things themselves. They don't need that support. And of course, we're very we disagree on this very much. One of our other challenges has been very locally oriented, because it turned out that our finances for the honors program fell through the March 1st, 2018, which is the exact same date that our institution was formed in a merger between two large institutions before. And that just gave us a lot of heat, in that we didn't have a supporting administrative organization because everybody was busy with the merger. Then we have a challenge in that when this is a first mover program, we didn't have the qualifications as teachers. So we are doing the in-service training or the faculty development as we go along. And this, of course, has given us quite a bit of challenges when we need to develop qualitatively stable elements of the program that we need to read up on everything beforehand. And then finally, right now, we're very busy because our external funding is approaching very fast. As I told you, we have the last class that we enrolled this summer. And we need to know, we need to define what to do next. And right now we're in very harsh negotiations with different stakeholders about how to do a Copenhagen Honors College version 2.0 and how to fund it. And should we fund it by using resources from within the teacher education? And if we do that, how do we do that without cutting other important stuff out of the education? And why should everybody else in this teacher education program, why should they give funding to a very limited program aimed at science teachers? So the future, we are developing a new honors program. We are working further on in-service training of faculty development, which also include developing an administrative organization to handle this honors program, so that it will not be as vulnerable as it is when there are only very few people in the management of the program. We try to integrate this honors program in the Institute of Teacher Education. Content-wise, is there anything we do in the honors program that can actually be part of the teacher education in general? We try to look at the financial stuff, as I told you, and also last but not least, we work very hard on changing the cultural attitude toward working with talented students, strong students, and that is a very big task, actually. And we try to do it in a lot of different, through a lot of different challenges. And as we go along, it gets easier because we have students that work as ambassadors in their different classes, and that helps a lot. Also, we have seven projects, research projects that follow the Copenhagen Honors College, and the results from these projects, we have a PhD students, we have a University of Copenhagen are doing some research on the program, different aspects, and we're looking forward to try to gather all that information from these research programs and using them when we define our own version of an honors didactics that could be spread out into other settings than just our own. And then finally, we're working on establishing a sustainable CHC alumni organization. And we would very, very much like to make a connection from this alumni organization to other alumni organizations in other honors programs around the world. So this is an open invitation to make contact, maybe even be, through the European Honors Council, where I know some students are trying to make a network, a common network. So this is what I wanted to tell you, and these just short, for a little bit more than 15 minutes. We have a sister organization that are starting up this August, CHC Nurse, and I have put down the contact information for the head of that program, Helle Mata. And please, if you have any questions beyond what we get to talk about in this session, please feel free to email either one of us, and we will get back to you with all the details, whatever you want to ask. So thank you very much. I will stop sharing now.
Thank you very much, Nina, for this very insightful presentation. I'd like to invite the audience, if they have any clarification questions at this point that can be answered quickly, to ask them right now in the chat. But that will maybe take a little bit of time. I don't hear or see anyone coming right now. So then I would suggest that we first go to Ulrich's presentation and then have a joint discussion afterwards. Thank you very much, Nina. And Ulrich Schmid has now joined us. Well, as I said in the welcoming words, he's very passionate about his the honors program he has built at Technical University of Vienna, Wenen, as we say in Dutch. And I would like to give the floor to you, Ulrich, for your presentation.
Okay, thank you very much for your kind introduction, and actually thank you very much for having invited me to your conference, because possibly I should start with kind of telling you that unlike possibly most of you, I'm not an expert in honors education and in all these kind of things. I'm just kind of an ordinary, humble professor of computer science here at TU Vienna. And in a way, the only thing that links me to honors education is that I know some honors colleges in the US, and I was kind of always friendly about having something like that at our place. And, you know, because of this, I kind of decided to, you know, give it a try and, you know, push towards establishing such a thing in Vienna here. And today I'm going to present you kind of the results of our accomplishments, which are, I must really admit, which are very hands-on and very pragmatic in some respects, and possibly you would kind of see a lot of ways of improving stuff. But this is the way how we could set about and how we could implement things. And of course, I would be looking very much forward to kind of feedback and suggestions for improvement. Okay, so let me now maybe start this thing, you know, with the kind of mission statement, because, and I think it's probably it's very short. I give you a couple of seconds to just read it to understand what we are after. And of course, I will kind of, you know, just focus on what is written here in more detail in a second. Let me just point you also to the fact that we have, of course, have a web page, and there has also been kind of an article in the Journal of the European Honors Council that kind of describes the genesis of this program, where you can, if you like, find more information about these things that I'm going to tell you today. I understood that the slides will be shared anyway, so you will have access to the links then also. All right, so why? This is really the question that everybody asked me when we tried to get this thing, you know, kind of on the road here in Vienna. And just to give you kind of the flavor of what we have actually been trying to do is we wanted to essentially simulate a 4 years bachelor degree in, which is kind of comparable to the Anglo-American model, in our Bologna architecture, which is based on 3 years bachelor's, 2 years master's, and then a PhD program. And the idea essentially was to do something where we can simulate a 4 years bachelor. So why? Well, from the perspective of TU Vienna, it was fairly easy because we have kind of the goal of supporting excellence, and having an honors program is of course a clear and outside visible sign of this thing. More interesting is the question, why is the faculty interested in such a thing? And actually there was a threefold goal, and let me just tell you these three goals. The first one is, in Austria at least, traditionally the best graduates of secondary school, they study mathematics or physics. And it was our idea, if we can offer an honors program, then possibly we could just draw some of these really very gifted young students to take computer science in the first place. The second thing was, of course, in a way, TU Vienna is a mass university. We have something like 670 freshmen in computer science every year. So you can imagine that there is absolutely no room for kind of supporting gifted students among them. This is a huge mass of students, and we are actually somehow happy to make, this majority of them, kind of following the topic. So there is no way to support gifted students. And it was an idea that maybe an honors program could be a way to just, attract these good students early on and support them and challenge them in the way that they need for further skill development. And the third, and at least as important goal, was the problem that we have really, like everybody in the world, to find gifted PhD students at the end who are willing to do research work. We face a lot of pressure from students who are just drawn into industry. Industry gives something like 2 or 10 universities do about this dangerous drain of brain power. And the idea that we had, and I should possibly not say it in pandemic times, but the idea was try to infect students with the research virus very early. That was the idea. And this honors program gives us the opportunity to do exactly this. Our honors students are early integrated in research teams. They learn to work with crazy guys like me and others who are really frenzy about research work. And this is really a very, very important thing for these students, which starts to be, to show its success actually, because we were able to attract quite a number of very gifted students already to the PhD track later on. Okay, and what is the student's perspective? Why should they take the trouble of an honors program? Well, better education is obvious, and better career perspectives is also. So in a way, this was a win-win-win situation. Therefore, we were able to implement. Now that you understand what I'm talking about, I'm just, trying to give you the flavor of what the program is, built upon. So we target less than top 5% of our students in all informatics bachelor programs. So we have completed performance-based admission criteria. So there is no, this is a nice student and we try it. You have to really match the admission criteria, which are based on the success in the first 3 semesters of the regular bachelor program. They have to submit an individual bachelor with honors program, which is in between 45 and 60 ECTS, which is roughly 1 year. And they can select any bachelor and master courses from the whole university, whether it's computer science or chemistry or physics, it doesn't matter. It just must make sense. And they are given an individual mentor who is really taking care of these students and the further development of these students. We have also solely performance-based completion criteria, which means that it's not a hand-waving thing. Once you're in the honors college, you will pass. You have to really complete the regular bachelor program with distinction. They have to have a GPA, which is at least 3.5. In Austria, it's a different range, but this is essentially what it is. And they have to do it within a reasonable time frame. So everything, regular bachelor plus the honors program, must be completed within 9 semesters. Yeah, and what does the completion earn? Well, they get a bachelor with honors graduation certificate. I'll show you in a second. And they get the personal letter of recommendation from the president of our university, which certifies that they belong to our less than top 5% of graduates. Here is the certificate. And actually, the impressive thing about this is that it carries signatures from all the important people from our university, starting from the rector Sabine Seidel to the left, to the Dean of Academic Affairs of our faculty to the right. So this is really something which we know that gives a tremendous push to students who are applying for attractive positions somewhere. Here's the back side. Here is the recommendation letter from the rector. Here's a short description of the program. And on the right side, what you see is the honors program, including the grades that the students have achieved in the honors program itself. Of course, they get their standard bachelor completion certificate as well. Well, this is essentially what the program is kind of about. And now let me just move over to a quick outline of how we set up the whole thing. And then, in fact, what I have to say is that it was smooth and easy to implement and design and outline the whole thing within our faculty. What we did not expect was that it was terribly difficult to get our university approving this program official. And actually, I spent an awful lot of time of advertising and lobbying to make essentially the official vote in the Senate positive. So the reason for that, in case you don't know them, but probably you know it already. So one thing is that other faculties in particular, they considered a Bachelor with Honors 4 years program as a threat to the master programs as the mandatory entry requirement into PhD. This was really one of the most important obstacles that they had. And actually it led to the fact that our honors graduates are not allowed to directly enter a PhD program at TU Vienna. That's kind of a side effect of that. Then there is also kind of a general reservation against elite programs, and possibly this is all over the world like this. So, well, and there were some legal concerns regarding compatibility with the Bologna study architecture that we had to overcome. Nevertheless, since October 2017, this program lives and is part of the official informatics curricula at our university. So, I mean, here this slide is only to show you that there was an awful number of people involved in setting this up properly and, getting everything designed in the way as it is. And I just wanted to show you that this is, of course, not a one-man show. Even though it was very important to have somebody who is really frantic about this and drove this, but, without all these people, nothing would have happened. All right, here's the status. So the first enrollments in the program were in January 2018. Since then, we had 43 admissions. We have now, yesterday was the last graduation, we have 21 graduates. We have quite a lot of impressive success stories, awards, successful applications somewhere, accepted papers and stuff like that, that you can find on this webpage. For example, one of our guys was now just recently admitted to the Harvard PhD school directly, which is indeed quite some accomplishment, I guess. One of the highlights that we had was an internship program. In fact, we had official partners, in particular at Purdue and Urbana-Champaign, who had dedicated Bachelor with Honors internship offers for our students. And of course, this Corona thing has killed everything. And, I'm very much looking forward how to revive this, because this is a very important asset in this program, and I'm really desperate that it did not work out the last year, and I'm trying to kind of re-establish it. Of course, we also have scholarships, but right now they are not as important as they were before. Right, and with this, let me come to the future perspectives, because actually we didn't want to stop at the master program, and to show you why, here is kind of, the overall studies architecture. As I said, the Bologna system gives us 3 years bachelor, 2 years master, and the doctoral program afterwards. The bachelor with honors lies, atop of the master, and also, 1 year overlap with the master program. And as you see, the red and the green arrows indicate the possibilities to pass between these different programs. Red usually means kind of fail, which means that you fall out of the bachelor with honors and, just jump into the master program. Green usually means you complete successfully with these things. And the problem that we have is that, in a way, this unfortunate thing that we cannot allow our honors graduates to directly enter PhD schools at our universities is a pain. And therefore, we decided we should go for a Master with Honors program to bridge this gap. And this is what I'm going to talk now, and hopefully to conclude my talk soon. So we will have a program which targets the following kind of goals. The first one is, we of course want to attract excellent students at TU Vienna, again, also at the master level. But the second thing is, we want to provide a way for external graduates of a 4 years bachelor program to get a master degree on their way when they enroll directly into our PhD programs. Because strangely enough, if somebody comes with a 4 years bachelor with honors from Edinburgh, he can start with a PhD at TU Vienna immediately, but of course he won't get a master degree if for some reason he has to break up this PhD program. And a master with honors thing would be a way to give them a master on the way. And of course, we want an accelerated entry for our own Beyond graduates into the PhD program. And here is how it works. So this is the current path into our PhD programs. On the left side, you see the standard program, so 3 years bachelor's, standard 2 years master, and then you start with a PhD. On the right-hand side, you see the way when you come from a foreign master program, or a master program in physics, let's say at TU Vienna, where you don't have the necessary preconditions, then you get something that we call Auflagen. These are additional requirements that you have to pass up to 30 ECTS, which is half a year, that you have to pass in order to really, start this PhD program. And you can come, as I said, from a 4 years honors bachelor from other universities. And what we're going to do is we want our Master with Honors program to bridge these holes. First of all, we want to make an accelerated entry for our Bachelor with Honors graduates into the PhD school in a way, and we want to give a master on the way for the external graduates of honors programs from all over the world. And here are the cornerstones of this program. So the applications are open for our own honors graduates and for foreign ones. We have an individual mentor again, of course. We have an individual Master with Honors curriculum, which people can choose on their own. It's kind of a variation of the existing master programs. But what is special is, first of all, we accredit 4 years bachelor courses from foreigners, and of course from our own students. We have a research orientation, which means that you can trade publications against ECTS credits. And of course, everything has to be set up in a way that the Deans of Academic Affairs can approve. And what's the graduation thing? The graduation thing will be 2 ways, either with an honors certificate, then you have to successfully complete the honors program within a time frame of 6 semesters. You have to have distinction and you have to have a GPA of 3.8. And you can also pass this master program when you kind of fail the honors graduation, but you still can pass the master program and therefore get just a regular completion of this Master with Honors program without a honors certificate, right? And I think with this kind of slide, I'm at the end of what I wanted to present here. I'm sorry a bit for the rush. It took slightly longer than I expected, but it's close of the end of my talk. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, Ulrich, for indeed a presentation full of information. And I can imagine that some of our participants are still processing all the things you said, but it is really interesting to hear also about your plans to set up the Master with Honors program. And indeed, I would like to invite all the participants now to ask their questions. You can raise your hand, you can open your microphone, you can put your question in the chat, not only to Ulrich, but of course also to Nina, who presented earlier. And I see a first question coming up. Ulrich, are you reading the chat yourself, or do you want me to do that?
Well, no, I have seen that I have the chat open, so I'm just trying to see where I should jump in. So the first question was, right. Yeah, the performance-based admission criteria and completion criteria. So the point is, as I said, we did not have time and we did not have resources and anything that people like you who are kind of experts in honors education would immediately spend on setting up a program like this. Yes, the criteria that we currently have, namely this completely performance-based orientation of the staff, this indeed kind of, creates this ambition of just learning for the test and learning the standard thing as well as possible and just, graduate with good grades, and that's essentially it. But at the same time, you have to understand that at a mass university like ours, we actually, even if we make our students learning for a test to get good grades is an accomplishment, because we have the opposite sign that actually many of our students just want to pass no matter what the grade is. So actually when they pass with not with insufficient, then they are already fine. But when we make them, okay, just learn and try to get the best grade, this is really an improvement compared to what we had before. So therefore, I agree, this is not the optimum thing, but it is better than we had without this honors program.
Thank you, Ulrich. I saw a question in the chat coming up for Nina as well. So Nina, if you would like to answer this one, what would be the most significant different aspect of your the 2.0 version of your program in Copenhagen Honors College?
Thank you, Martin. I think what we're working on is that making the honors program integrated within the entire educational program, so that we will work on reducing the stigma of being part of the honors program. This will be the most important thing that we would do differently, and this means that we will involve a lot more people in the program on the teacher side and also on the student side. We're working on trying to find out how to expand our population. So maybe instead of just focusing on sciences, we would focus on maybe physical education and other topics that are related somehow to science. So to try to make it make honors programs and working with talented students a normal thing, a non-threat to everybody. That will be our most important goal, which means that it means a lot for how we communicate. So that's the difference. The activities will be more or less the same, but we will talk about them differently and enroll other students in them in much larger scale.
Thank you, Nina. And maybe indeed, you heard some inspirational things in what Ulrich just told us about the program in Vienna. Although it is at quite a different type of university, of course. For Ulrich, I think there's another question about the extra content of the Bachelor with Honors program in comparison with I would say the regular Bachelor Honors program.
Yeah. Okay, so this is also something where I said, I mean, in a way we cannot compare with, the classic honors colleges that I know, like in Purdue. We don't have a donor which just, gives us $100 million to build a new building and have an honors college, equipped here. So actually, we have the problem that we do not have additional resources for the honors program. Everything just goes into the mass education thing. So therefore, we have to be very careful, actually also internally, with setting up something dedicated for honors students, because when we do it, then the Dean of Studies comes immediately and asks us whether we have too much free capacity, and we could possibly like to take over some, classes in the regular bachelor curriculum. So this is kind of a trade-off that we have to, kind of a balance that we have to have internally. But to answer your question precisely, what we have special for the honors students are essentially, we have a special kind of orientation lecture, which is kind of community building measures. So we want these honors students to form kind of a community and, to more or less know each other and also exchange ideas about research stays externally, to kind of have activities together. Also, what these students are all allowed to, the they are allowed to attend research seminars. This is something that is not open for standard bachelor students. And actually, this is very much encouraged on our side, that in the honors programs, our students just take also kind of advanced classes from the PhD programs. So actually, they can access a lot of things which are not tailor-made for bachelor with honors students, but which are tailor-made for, you know, higher ranked students, which are usually not accessible to bachelor students. That's the way how we are currently, you know, organizing these special purpose courses for honors bachelors. But for example, we don't have a mathematics one specially for honors students. That's not the way that we would kind of, you know, survive. Even offering this would kill one of us immediately.
Thank you very much, Ulrich. And indeed, for more details, Ulrich already said that there's an article also in the Journal of the European Honours Council with even more details than he could share. And I think these 15 minutes. We're almost approaching the end of this session. Maybe I can ask as a closing question to both of you. You have already given us a look into the future of your program, but I think in both cases it is sort of from a point of view that is driven from the possibilities within the organization. But if you could just dream freely, what would you love to see in a couple of years for your program? And I would like to give the floor to Nina first to share briefly.
Yes, thank you. In terms of the future, I would like to have an honors program that is, as Marka writes in the chat, that is interdisciplinary. I would like to have activities that go across a lot of different educational topics, and even and also have activities that are specific. So a little bit more like the Hansa 2.0 program that was presented by Peter yesterday, to have an honors program that is an acknowledgement, basically, of students that want to do more and wants to change the profession that they're going into after being after graduation from teacher education. And this means that our honors program would be a fully integrated program that some students could take partially and some students could take in full, and also have credit. I was very impressed with Ulrich that you had a specific certificate with all the right signatures and everything, because we have just been told that we cannot mention that the students are honor students in their graduation certificate at all. And we did that with our first graduating class, but our second graduating class that are graduating next week are not allowed to have this. So this is just a signal of the culture that we're working or battling with. And I would very much like to have a certificate like the one that you have in Vienna. So that's my future.
Okay, so let me possibly also one thing, because you said essentially the stigma of being in an honors program. I must tell you this, I see it completely the other way around. I think, and also from the perspective of our graduates, this is not a stigma, this is really an asset, an extremely important asset for these students to get to the position where they really want to and where they belong to regarding their skills. And actually, as Martin has asked me where I want to see our program in the future, I really want to see this program to just target, you know, the full group, let's say of top 5% of our students. Right now, we reach only at most half of them that we could reach if you look at the grades. So I want to just, you know, increase the number of admissions there, but I don't want to go away from this elite program. I think this is really an asset. And, you know, all the success stories, if you just look at this stuff that we have, this is a so extremely important signal also for our students. Look, guys, if you really work hard, you can go to places where, you know, the best of the best are, you know, working and studying, like Harvard or MIT or things like that. And this is an incredibly important signal to the young people that it pays off to invest their time into getting better and into competitive education and into striving for the maximum that you can achieve. And I want to see my program actually ending up with more universities like Purdue, who always ask me when they send back the interns that went there for internships, they always ask me, can you possibly ask them whether they want to make PhD with us? And that, for me, this is an extreme success of this program. And of course, I want to more or less, you know, have maybe twice the number of students who I can drain away from industry and push them into a PhD, which would not have happened without this program. And this is my kind of most important success matrix, if you like.
Well, thank you very much, Ulrich, and also thank you very much, Nina, for your insights. We really have to close this session now. We've gone a little bit over time, but it has been very, very interesting. So thank you very much. Also, thank you to the participants, and I can only invite you to join more sessions of this conference. The next one will start in 11 minutes. Hope to see you around at the conference World of Talent 2021. Thank you.